this is Kirby Miri here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another episode of Shin Hayarigami 2, the final part for the Lady in the Trenchcoat chapter in particular. First of all, it's very good to see y'all again. I hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all having a lovely day, afternoon, night, depending on your time zone. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking this moment of your time and watching today's video. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, be sure to drop the like button. It really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel and want to join in on more adventures like this, then yeah, you're more than welcome to. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, last episode where we left off, we were still at Kisaragi's home. We were talking about the whole grudge thing and how there's a possibility that the real TOUKO AMEMIYA is dead, and what's causing all of this is her grudge. We go to the G Prefectural Hospital to check on the third and fourth victims, and things take a turn for the worse because then the fourth victim, Miss Minamimachi, gets killed, literally. And when we try to save Yazawa, we discover two ladies in the trench coat. We have no idea what the hell is going on. Why are there two? But before we have the time to even fight them or figure out what is the whole deal, a can is being thrown, a particular can of gas, and we pass out. Then we encounter Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI, and they tell us about what happened, which unfortunately Yazawa had lost his marbles after seeing two ladies in the trench coat. He's gone insane, unfortunately, and Sena tried to tell the guys about the two ladies in the trench coat, but obviously they didn't believe it. Super obvious that this was going to happen. They said that the real TOUKO AMEMIYA was at a mental asylum. I think it was mental asylum, and so they were gonna go visit her, and Inspector KOUKETSU asked if we wanted to come, which obviously we said yes. But on our way there, something happened. We nearly got into a car accident, and we stop at a time which is 4:44, which is a very important time. You'll see why later. And basically, we go back to driving and we end up in an abandoned hospital for some reason, even though they went the same direction apparently as Inspector KOUKETSU instructed. But when we go in there, we got more than what we bargained, because we end up in murder mystery laboratory type thing where we see a bunch of clones of TOUKO AMEMIYA. This is like a murder mystery episode with the dinosaur episode and stuff like that. And so we discovered that someone has been trying to create a homunculus, which is not a clone, but more like, it's a clone, but like more of a living person, because clones barely, like the clones don't act like actual humans, is what I'm trying to say. I think a homunculus acts more like a human, I think, in a sense. I don't know a lot about that. But then we just keep exploring around and we find the real TOUKO AMEMIYA, and she's lost her marbles as well. She's clearly demented, she's clearly psychotic and very dangerous. And before we even had the time to process all what was going on, something happens and a bunch of men in black suits barge in here, and then the final twist, it is revealed that we have Yazawa, which is right there, as you can see. I don't know how they discover the place, because we barely just casually found it. I don't know how they found it, but yeah, this is what's going on. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, because this is about to get real wacky real quick. And let's get to it. It looks like Kogoro Yazawa must have called out his gangster proteges. Eiichi, I'm so happy that you came to see me. Eiichi, 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 Eiichi. Oh my god. When TOUKO AMEMIYA saw Yazawa, she had a look of ecstasy on her face. She repeatedly called out Yazawa's name and was headbutting the acrylic glass repeatedly. Even though the cell is enormously large and looks extremely heavy, it would shake every time TOUKO AMEMIYA headbutted. TOUKO AMEMIYA must have a unique ability. The same ability as the lady in the trench coat we met. Ooh, that's not a good sign. Damn it! Give me the gun! Excuse me? Die! 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 What the hell? Seeing TOUKO AMEMIYA's extremely abnormal behavior, YAZAWA snatches a gun from a man in black clothes nearby and starts shooting at her. However, all the bullets were blocked off by the thick acrylic glass. Not a single bullet reached TOUKO AMEMIYA. I can't believe he's stupid enough to fire in front of 2 police officers. No. It seems he's completely lost his sanity after his encounter with the 2 TOUKO AMEMIYAs. Because YAZAWA is roughly slamming his empty gun onto the floor and giving orders to the men in black suits who stand behind him. It's that woman! Kill that disgusting woman! If she's not dead, I'll have nightmares for the rest of my life! YAZAWA lets out a cry and hides behind the men in black suits. The men, clearly confused by the strange sight before them, advance with their weapons, ready to carry out his orders. Yes, this is my final test. If I can get through them, you and I can be together forever. TOUKO AMEMIYA smiles fearlessly, but she's still trapped in the glass cage. What in the world is she planning to do? By the way, if she comes out of there, then she would die, right? Because she's in a flask. So she's a homunculus, and homunculus cannot live outside the flask. So, in a sense, the only way to defeat her is literally getting her out of the flask, and then she may melt like Mario Mystery style. That's the only thing I'm thinking right now. I mean, well, who knows? But that's kind of makes sense to me. I don't know about y'all, but it kind of makes sense to me. Oh, good, great. Now, Ichi, pay close attention. This is the day my love for you will crystallize! Yo! What? I forgot about that! Oh, there's YAZAWA crying! As if on cue, many women in trench coats whose presence had not been detected until now suddenly appear and took control of the area. Their numbers far exceed the numbers of the men in black. It was palpable that a sense of unrest and fear was growing among them. A woman holding an axe, a woman wearing a mask, a woman holding a sickle, a woman with an eye patch. They attack the nearest man in black suits. The men, who seem stunned, are unable to keep up with what's happening. One gets his neck bitten off by one of the lady in the trench coats. One of the men got his torso cut in half with a sickle. Normally cutting a human body with a sickle is an extremely difficult thing, but the woman slashed him with ease. Jeez! What? YAZAWA yells and cries. He continues to cower behind the men in black suits. More men in black step forward, replacing the dead ones, and continue to aim with their guns. The bullet hit the women, but only their trench coats received the bullets. The women themselves deflected the bullets with their skin. What? How powerful are these women? This is the end of the world then! Bullets were rolling around all around us. Guns, smokes only serving to obscure the view. But the men in black suits continue with resolute. What are you doing? What do you think I brought that thing here for? Burn them all down! This time, men carrying flamethrowers rush forward. Oh my god! The flames that were spat out began to spread everywhere, taking down both the ladies in the trench coats and the man in suits. The flames began to burn everything, including friend or foe, but only the men in black suits were getting burned. Yo! The women were unharmed, but their trench coats burned down. Regardless, they continued towards YAZAWA and the rest of the men with creepy smiles on their face. Oh my goodness! That won't stop my love! Question, is she like controlling them? Like, they're not dying because of her? Like, she has a power or something? I don't know. TOUKO AMEMIYA smiles triumphantly while Yazawa looks at her with an even more confused expression on his face. Oh, hey, you guys! Do something! However, the man in black suits probably never imagined that their opponents would be monsters that could withstand bullets and flamethrowers. They stood there in fear. More ladies in the trench coats were emerging from the doors they had come through. Come on, Ichi! I'll wrap you with my love! Step by step, the ladies in the trench coat closed in on the group. The men in black suits had faces covered in fear and sweat. Holy shit. Hey, hey, hey! Don't go around doing whatever the hell you want in front of police officers! Out of nowhere, Sena takes a step forward. I don't think you want to go in between that, Sena. The men in black suits who ran out of bullets now draw their knives and head towards Sena. Sena! You think I'm afraid of Yakuzas? I was the leader of a gang! Hey, hey, hey! You just said you're a police officer! However, it would probably be useless to say anything to Sena, who's full-on biker gang mode. Sena's fist hit one of the man's jaws, knocking him unconscious. Then he takes the knife he was holding and thrusts it at the feet of another one of those men. What?! Meanwhile, another man stood there in fear. He quickly jumped towards him and delivered a flying kick to his stomach. Damn, Sena's on fire! He then grabs one of the women and throws him away! A man rushes toward him, but he gets hit by a flying woman and they sink in. He's strong, and as expected, he was the leader of a motorcycle gang, and he has a lot of experience. With a lively expression on his face, he continues to kick his opponent's way. To be honest, there was no way to arrest these people, but in this situation, there was no man more reliable than Sena. Pretty much. Hey! Whose side are you on? Yazawa, who continues to cower in fear, yells at us. Don't be stupid! We're not on anyone's side! We're police officers! We follow the law! And we're going to arrest each and every one of you! On one hand, there's a group of delinquents using illegal weapons. On the other hand, there are armed women who attack people in groups. All of them deserve to be arrested. Especially you, Yazawa! You can't get away with this anymore. So prepare yourself! Perhaps realizing that he could no longer do anything, he bites his lips and glares at me with a resentful look. The men in black suits behind him were pitiful, and they didn't look intimidating at all. Well, it's time to prepare ourselves for this, but we'll be able to survive through this situation? I take a deep breath and look around the place. Police officers versus Yakuzas versus creepy women. It's like a scene from a B-movie title. Even if I saw this at a shop, I would probably think it's a ridiculous movie and never buy it. I still can't believe this is happening. What the hell? All I can do is laugh at this craziness. Anyone would. But neither the ladies in the trench coat nor the men in black suits will get in our way, because they're both targets and threats. At first, Sena was carrying the momentum as he was taking down both men in suits and the ladies in the trench coats, and it looked like he was winning all by himself. However, the ladies in the trench coats began to gain the upper hand. There's just simply too many of them. There are so many of them that I lost count, but it seems like the numbers grew 3 times than the men in black suits. Furthermore, they have such durability they don't even flinch when a bullet is shot at them. The knives and swords used by the men in black suits don't seem to work either. Even if we knock them, they stay unconscious temporarily and they come back eventually. This would be endless. In addition, the men in black suits are completely intimidated by the women. Some of them have completely lost their will to fight and have begun to flee. Wow! The number of men in black suits have been greatly reduced. Some have their heads split open with axes. Others have had their carotid arteries cut with sickles. Sena was unrivaled, beating down on anyone who got in the way, but even he was starting to feel out of breath. The ladies in the trench coat had endless stamina. Amidst the glass, TOUKO AMEMIYA had an ecstatic look on her face as she takes in this madness. Now, how can we get through a situation where we have a difficult time grasping everything? Uh-oh, here we go again! Suddenly, a familiar metallic sound came by, and white smoke screen enveloped the room. Is this the same thing as the hospital? A new group of people appeared from the smoke, wearing hazmat suits, likely having heard the alarm and rushed to the scene. The hell's up with these guys? Damn it! Sena tries to shake off the people in hazmat suits, but gets caught up on the smoke, and he can't move properly. He begins to be held down by the group. Same with me. I had already been held down by a group as well. Nazi! Sena! As my consciousness faded, and my vision had been obscured by the smoke, I could faintly see a person standing there, not in a hazmat suit. Is it possible for someone to stand there without suffocating in the smoke? Perhaps I already lost consciousness and maybe what I'm seeing now is a dream. The man was wearing a black suit and black shoes. I don't know the brand, but I could tell they were high-end. Then, someone else stands next to him. A little girl, wearing black shoes and white socks.
Is it possible?
English?
It's possible. Probably. やってるよ. Okay, let's do it.
Wait, can we get these two to keep their memories?
Perhaps. But why?
Just a little warning for them. It doesn't hurt to have a new urban legend come out of their mouths.
Where are we? Back in the car? We're back in the car, where we nearly fell off that cliff, but still staying on top of in the nick of time. Here's the time again! The time is 4:44. Was it a dream?
No, it wasn't. Look at this.
Sena shows me his injured arm, a painful cut that was probably done by a lady in the trench coat, or those men in black suits. Oh my god, what happened? So it wasn't a dream? But this is clearly the time right now. Sena also seems unable to hide his confusion at the situation. Let's go back again, to the abandoned hospital.
This is going to be such a bad trip.
I was driving the car instead of Sena, since he was injured. This time, Sena had obediently accepted to switch seats without throwing a tantrum. Since it's unclear the extent of the injury Sena had inflicted, there was nothing that could be done. I drive the car and head towards the abandoned hospital where we were just a few moments ago. It's a straight road. There's no way I could get lost. However, along the way, we were blocked by a huge fence? They were placed in such a way that they surrounded what appeared to be the abandoned hospital. At this rate, it looks like we won't be able to reach the abandoned hospital.
Hey, this wasn't here before.
You're right. Let's get out and check it out. No entry except for authorized personnel. SDF? SDF? At the most visible part of the barricade facing the road, there was a torn-off sign indicating that the area was under the control of self-defense forces. Those testing facilities we saw. So the self-defense forces are the ones who inherited the legacy of the former Japanese army?
You must have taken a wrong turn?
No way. It's a straight road, so it's physically impossible to take a wrong turn. However, it is true that things are physically and commonly inconceivable were happening. Now there is no way to confirm this. The high walls and heavy barricades seem to tell us so. Well, yeah. Third night evening. The original plan went awry and we ended up returning to the G Prefectural Police Headquarters without even reaching our destination. Despite all hope, the injustice of not actually achieving any results was disheartening to us. Whoops. We return to the headquarters in silence, and we see Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI waiting for us. As soon as Detective NIIMI sees us, he glares at us and walks straight to us.
Masaomi was so considerate of both of you, and yet you went to play somewhere else? You need to apologize to him! What you did was rude! No, we tried the best we could.
Sena stutters a little. We're still trying to piece what happened. How can we even explain it to them?
Aizen, what happened? You're wounded.
Inspector KOUKETSU has a keen eye. He noticed Sena's injury, something we had completely forgotten about.
This is, well, it's just a scratch. That's a very bad wound for it to be a scratch. It'll be bad if you get tetanus. It's out of hours now, so be sure to get yourself checked at the police hospital later.
Inspector KOUKETSU, we couldn't get to the abandoned psychiatric hospital. Were you able to get there?
Huh? You couldn't make it? No way! You guys are so incompetent! How could you miss a straight road? I guess it was inevitable. It was raining heavily, and I couldn't see well. So, I lost sight of your car on the way. That wasn't even a millimeter of rain! If you're going to lie, you should have come up with a better lie! Uh-oh.
There was no rain? Heavy rain? The road must have been wet by the time we left the hospital. The words Fox Bride comes to mind. I'm sure at this point, something had already been keeping an eye on us.
Oh, I know what it is.
I felt a chill running down my spine. I can't believe we made it out safely.
Whatever, man. We did what we were told and headed out there. We were the first ones to arrive there. Yeah, first. We arrived exactly as the navigation system indicated, but your car was nowhere to be found. Isn't that right, Masaomi? Yeah.
Inspector KOUKETSU and his partner did arrive at the hospital as planned. Well then, why did the hospital look like it was abandoned?
Abandoned? What are you even talking about?
Inspector KOUKETSU frowns and looks at us with a confused expression. That seems to be the case. When we arrived at the hospital, there was no one there. From the strong weed and cracked building, it's clear that no one had been there for a long time. And it became clear the location is different from the ones the detectives went to. We'll report on our end. Anyways, what about you guys? Is TOUKO AMEMIYA?
What's with that arrogant attitude? You guys drove down the mountain road, right? We're proving that our way of doing things is correct. Shouldn't you follow instructions? That's true, but damn, I hate it when you tell it straight to my face.
Detective NIIMI makes some nasty remarks towards him, but since it's technically true, he can't fight back. Detective NIIMI, you're right. But now...
TOUKO AMEMIYA was not at the intended hospital. Masaomi! Are you seriously telling them? There are as many truths and interpretations to a case as there are multiple detectives investigating it. I want these two to know the truth. God, that's what you want to do, Masaomi. I have no objections. Please proceed.
Detective NIIMI respected his decision. His loyalty to Inspector KOUKETSU is beyond doubt. I dislike the hot-bloodedness and hot-headed farce, but there are one or two things I would like to believe in. These two have built a good relationship. I wonder if I can be like that with Sena. Okay, going back to the main topic. What do you mean when you say TOUKO AMEMIYA wasn't there?
To be precise, TOUKO AMEMIYA had already unalived herself in the psychiatric hospital.
Unalive herself?
Even though it is prohibited to bring any sharp objects or string-like objects to the hospital room, she braided her own hair into a rope and used it to hang herself. Holy shit!
TOUKO AMEMIYA unalive herself? That can't be! If that's the case, who was that TOUKO AMEMIYA we met at the abandoned hospital? Okay, the top says about TOUKO AMEMIYA and the people involved, and then the bottom part says, when Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI arrived at the psychiatric hospital, they were told TOUKO AMEMIYA had unalived herself. But is that true? No, because we just saw her. It's a lie. They can hide everything else, but there's no hiding the wound on Sena's arm. Could it be that someone lied to them and fabricated a version of the truth? First, there were multiple TOUKO AMEMIYAs. Even if the story about her unaliving herself in a psychiatric hospital is true, it doesn't mean that she was truly the real TOUKO AMEMIYA. So my guess is that the original TOUKO AMEMIYA was at... So the two choices are TOUKO AMEMIYA was at the abandoned hospital, the TOUKO AMEMIYA at the abandoned hospital was also a clone. It's the first one. Perhaps the individual we encountered in that abandoned hospital was the real TOUKO AMEMIYA. Although I don't have any concrete evidence, the madness she displayed at the time makes it very hard to believe she was a clone. The other ladies in the trench coat were basically behaving in a completely impersonal way. She was the only one who showed that insanity. Is it possible that she was the real TOUKO AMEMIYA? There's no way to prove it now though. The hospital where TOUKO AMEMIYA was staying may have more than one person pulling strings behind the scenes, so their existence may be connected to this somehow. That's why Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI couldn't get to the truth, because someone behind the scenes was pulling the strings. But if that's the case, how did we end up in that state of obscurity, even if it only was temporarily? So the first one is someone's guidance, or the second one is there's a traitor among the enemies, the first one. Was someone guiding us this whole time? It makes sense. It doesn't seem like a place that police officers like us could find or write about. Also, that fingerprint authentication device, I was wondering how the hell did it open with Sena's fingerprint? If we consider that this was due to someone's guidance, that would explain everything. But if that's the case, why did they guided us? Maybe they were trying to show us the truth, though I'm not sure why. So, if we assume that someone did guided us, who could that person be?
There's our answer! Mitsuko Kisaragi!
Professor Kisaragi? The possibility crossed my mind. She is called the Witch of the Crime Research Institute, and there is something unfathomable about her. It wouldn't be surprising if there was such a connection. But is Professor Kisaragi the director of Forensic Science Laboratory and police officer and ally of the enemy? It's impossible to say for sure, but hopefully this guess turns out to be wrong. Paying no mind to me, Inspector KOUKETSU continued his testimony.
Also, the YAZAWA'S unalived themselves at their home. They were also hanging with the woman's long hair.
There's no need to ask Professor Kisaragi for a DNA analysis to figure out whose hair is it. It's TOUKO AMEMIYA. But no one would believe that.
We've been ordered to take charge of the next case. I guess the higher-ups really don't want anyone else to pry any further in this incident. See you next time, and don't get in our way.
We could only stare dumbfoundedly as Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI walk away. If I don't calm down and sort my head out, I feel like I'm going to go crazy. Alright, now we're finally doing this. Okay. TOUKO AMEMIYA. Who on earth is she? Okay, I got... So we got a bunch of choices. Ghost, Doppelganger, SAT, Homunculus, Homunculus human clone. She's a Homunculus. And her connection with the blonde prince. Okay, so the connection is... Obviously he experimented on her. Okay, let's fill in the rest of the blanks. So, let's see, we got... Okay, the blonde prince himself. Self-defense forces, diplomat, enemy, SAT, vengeful stalker. Diplomat. We got next, chief director. Let's go after him. Okay, here. So we got urban legend, ghost, spy, computer, unknown. Okay, let's go with ourselves. Obviously just police officer. Connection to Sena Aizen. We got partner. And Sena himself is pure idol, mysterious person, heretical being. And we have ICHIRO Tanaka, a dull office worker, obedient person, model for middle management, punk. Okay, an obedient person, pretty much. Masaomi-san. Okay. Urban legend. Conscientious. And then NIIMI-san. Thoroughbred, living clone, superintendent. Thoroughbred? Is that how you say it? I guess that's what it is? Yeah, because he's not... Hold on. Yeah. And then connection to Masaomi is partner, pretty much. And connection to Sena is a rival. Mitsuko Kisaragi. Witch, King Circle of Enemies, Shrine Maiden. Let me put this away for a second. YAZAWA. CEO. And then connection to TOUKO AMEMIYA is... yeah, this one. Plague, Grim Reaper, Lover, part of the assault. And then TOUKO AMEMIYA's connection to YAZAWA. Taka. What else do we have missing here? Okay, what else? How do I... Okay, we got this filled out. What? Oh, and the clones. Okay, so we got a bunch of shit. Let's start with the ladies in the trench coat. Person. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, these ones are like what urban legends are related. So this one is Hikiko-san. This one is the woman under the bench. This one is Kaoru? This is Kaoru-san? No. It is Kashima. Well then, looks like I think we got everything ready. Hopefully it goes well. Because now we're getting bad ending, I think. If we get bad ending, it's okay, I can reload it. But, hi. Alrighty. TOUKO AMEMIYA was a homunculus. Before we met her, we saw some documents called a method for making a homunculus. According to Sena, a homunculus is an artificial human who's born with all the knowledge but is unable to leave the flask. Multiple TOUKO AMEMIYAs can exist at the same time on the same day. If there was an organization with the technology to produce human clones, it would make sense why TOUKO AMEMIYA has superhuman physical abilities. If all those women we saw floating in the water in the abandoned hospital were TOUKO AMEMIYA, then it might contain elements of intercloning as well. But cloning is not enough to copy a person's memories or emotions, so if homunculus and alchemy were added with technologies that go beyond science, this possibility cannot be denied. The blonde prince was conducting an experiment on TOUKO AMEMIYA. Just before I lost consciousness, I saw the shadows in the smoke. What was that? The blonde prince? And considering he showed up alongside the people in hazmat suits, it's possible he's with them, or rather, the one giving the orders. Ooh. In other words, could it be that the blonde prince had imprisoned TOUKO AMEMIYA and was conducting experiments on her? Let's see, did we pass the test, Professor? Did we pass the test? That was a lot of shit we had to fill in, by the way. We passed the test, yo! I just didn't remember what exactly I needed to put in there. Oh, good grief. Hold on a sec. But now, there's no way to prove it. What a bitter ending. The incident was resolved with unpleasant results. Both the suspects and the victims are dead. Even though a prominent politician and his son unalived themselves, the coverage was kept to a minimum. And this same day, no one at G Prefectural Headquarters spoke about this incident, as if they had prearranged it. But is this case over? To me, it feels like just the beginning. Oh, this music! I lean against the fence and look at the illuminated old castle at the top of Mount Kusama, excuse me. When I think about it, the long context of history, my own life, and this incident may have been just a small chapter. However, I can't help but worry the existence of the supernatural.
So you're here. I see.
Sena had 2 cans of coffee and tossed one of them to me. The can reads, Cafe Oshida. Considering Sena's appearance and background, Cafe Oshida, I was so amused that I couldn't help but smile.
What's this? I got flashy! Why are you smiling like that?
Oh, it's nothing. Thank you. This will be a feast. Sena stands beside me and looks out at the old castle of Kusama. Jesus, I'm so sorry about that.
You look serious. Are you still thinking about it?
Well, yeah.
Hey, do you know how konpeito is made?
Oh, konpeito is that Japanese candy. At his sudden question, I turned my gaze from the old castle of Kusama. What are you talking about? Konpeito?
I just happened to find out about it through a manga I like. First, dissolve the granulated sugar in water to make molasses, being careful not to burn it. Then, the granulated sugar, which will become the core of the konpeito, is placed in a pot and molasses is poured over while rolling it. The molasses stick to the sugar. That's how it gets the spiky shape. The candies are spiky shapes. It's surprisingly complicated to make. I wouldn't know how to make it anyways. What are you on about? The point is, whether if it's of this world or not, there are many things we don't know.
Naruhodo. It's not surprising that even events occur that are beyond our common sense or knowledge.
I want to say that
this is even more so in a bizarre case like this one.
Well, that's about it. I'm not so good at talking, so I can't really express it well.
Even though he's traumatized too by this mysterious incident, he was concerned about my well-being and comforted me by talking about how to make a sugar candy. Ah, he's a much stronger man than I thought. Arigato, Sena-kun.
Are you serious right now? What I'm trying to say is, we're partners, right?
Partners, huh? Never again. Or so I thought. I held out my hand to Sena. Let's continue to support each other, Sena.
Yes, let's continue to support each other, Natty. Oh, besties! Woo, woo, woo!
We both burst out laughing and shook hands lightly.
Oh yeah, that reminds me.
By the way, Sena, it's a bit difficult to say this at a time like this, but...
Sena was taken aback, his face turning red, looking away.
I'm a lone runner. I do need a partner, but I don't need a girlfriend. Sorry.
Oh, please. It's just shaking hands. You think it's not okay to hold hands because I'm a woman?
For a moment, Sena stares at my hand. I guess he realized he's touching my hand? Sena's screams echo through the silence of the night.
He really doesn't know how to deal with women.
The next morning when we arrive at work at the 1st Investigative Division, Chief Tanaka was eagerly waiting for us.
Oh! We've been waiting for you two!
Chief Tanaka welcomes us with a big smile and open arms. It's creepy. I can't help but feel like this is some kind of trap.
Ohayo, Kacho. What's going on?
Rejoice, you two! It's a promotion! A promotion! You're being transferred!
Transfer? Huh?
I dare to respond Chief Tanaka's news about a promotion. I think he's only happy because we're the ones who are bothering him and we're leaving.
I've just been assigned to the 1st Investigative Division. Where exactly are we being transferred to?
This is an order for the Chief Director. You're all moving to TOUKO as of today. Anyways, that's it. I'm busy today.
I'm busy today, said Chief Tanaka as he sat down at his desk and began leisurely reading the newspaper.
Hey, we got promoted. Great work. We did it.
Sena seems to be taking this promotion very seriously.
The chief recognizes that we solved the case. The promise he made was true after all.
I remembered. The chief had indeed made a promise, although I did doubt his existence. In contrast to me, whose suspicions were still not clear, Sena innocently smiled and excitedly head out towards the location of the special room. However, no matter which floor we went to, there was no department called TOUKO. We had no choice but to go to the General Affairs Department and ask, and we were finally able to find out the location for the police officer who helped us. All the time they said to us, "Are you two from that special room?" Being told special room, I had a bad feeling about this. Well, there's our office. The moment I opened the poorly fitted door, I was hit with a mix of smell of dust and mold.
The hell's this?
The location we were told about was this moldy room. The room was not particularly spacious. It had a worn-out desk and several chairs, an outdated PC, an old printer, and a scanner. The paint on the steel shelves lining the walls had been peeled off and is rusting in places. There's only the bare minimum provided. The weirdest part was this old-fashioned black telephone. I wonder if this thing is still used these days.
What is this? Is this really the Special Investigation Unit with the state-of-the-art equipment under the director's control the chief was boasting about?
Before he knew it, Sena's expectation had grown to include not only the chief director but also the fact that the facility might have had the most advanced equipment.
Suddenly, the old black phone rang out loudly.
Hello there, this is the Chief Director's Special Investigation Team.
Sena's acting like he's part of the Special Investigation Team. Picked up the receiver.
Who is this? What do you mean there's no Special Investigation Team in G Prefectural Police? Are you trying to pick a fight? We're a Special Investigation Team directly under the command of the Chief Director, you know? Don't underestimate us. Huh? Just Chief Director? Suddenly Sena's mouth opened wide and he couldn't close it. With his mouth still wide open, he immediately hands the receiver to me.
Yes, this is Marie.
It must have been hard work resolving that incident. Thanks to you, we're able to bring it under control with minimal damage.
A man's voice came from the receiver. It's the same man I had spoken to on the public phone. But Chief, with both the suspects and the victim's death, could you really call that minimal damage?
Yes, well, it's understandable that you might not be convinced, but the situation was much more worse than you imagine. It's true that your intervention was irregular, but because it was irregular, we feared the situation might have become chaotic, so we took action as quickly as possible and to the minimum.
I don't understand it at all. Who were the people involved in this?
There's no need for you to know.
I guess that means we shouldn't inquire too much on it. Once again, a vague feeling begins to rise within me. I don't know if the chief acknowledges my feelings or not, but he continues to speak.
Oh, and one more thing. Your partner seems to misunderstood something.
Misunderstood?
TOUKO is not an abbreviation for Special Investigation Team. It's a special customer service window. It is written as TOUKO, Special Window. From now on, you'll be investigating urban legends and ghost stories that normal police officers wouldn't take seriously. Please tell your partner the same thing.
Huh? What? After stating our new business, the chief director hangs the phone. That black phone's ringing is still buzzing in my ears. We're part of a special customer window? Abbreviated as TOUKO. It looks like my first task will be to tell Sena, who's still standing there with his mouth wide open in a daze.
This is an unfortunate truth.
What should I do? He'll feel depressed. I'll just buy him a cafe au lait, which he likes. We did it. We finished the chapter, The Lady in the Trench Coat. Woohoo! So yeah, this was the occult route. I will be doing a separate explanation right now. You'll see the next day me doing a separate explanation for the scientific route. So stick around for that if you want to know what the scientific route is for. And also, you should also stick around because there's going to be some extra scenes that we're going to be watching after the scientific explanation. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hey everyone, this is Next Day Kirby here, and today I've been tasked to do the scientific route of Shin Hayarigami's 2's Lady in the Trenchcoat chapter explanation. So basically I'm going to be explaining what happens during the scientific route and the few differences from that with the occult route. So yeah, stick around, get your snackies because this is going to be a bit of a long story. I'm going to try my best to concise it, but it is still kind of a bit of a long story. Like, these games are not short at all, so but I'll do my best to explain it. And I'm obviously going to do it in an explanation because I am not going to be doing both routes because I will never finish this game if that's the case. So I am going to do it in an explanation. So I apologize in advance for those who wanted to see a more fully fleshed playthrough of the other route, but you gotta understand, these games are not short. I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, let's do the explanation for the scientific route. So what ends up happening in the scientific route is that Sin is still a bit doubtful about, you know, going in this path because he believes that this is something mysterious, but ultimately our character convinces him of going the scientific route, which he agrees. The first thing they do is go outside the hospital to investigate the area where the lady in the trench coat apparently had fallen. They check the shattered glass, but they don't see any blood. They don't see any traces of the lady in the trench coat, which they find it a bit odd. But they don't go further with it and they just leave it at that.
And then that same day, they go back to the station. So here's the part. In the occult route, when we went to the station and we had the ICHIRO Tanaka complaining about the Kogoro Yazawa calling him and whatever, in the occult route, it was the next day after the lady in the trench coat had fallen from the hospital room of the 10th floor. This here in scientific route is the same day. It's so... we get the same thing, sort of, with a couple of minor changes, and like instead of Kogoro being pissed at them because they didn't capture the lady in the trench coat, this time it was more about the way they treated Yazawa, if I recall. So yeah, it's a couple of little changes there. There's also another change happening in there where we see the blonde prince, but we only see him in passing, like not in the occult route, where basically we see him stumble upon Ichiro Tanaka, and then we see his diplomatic car whatsoever. We don't get to see any of that in the scientific route. Basically they just ignore it again, and then they just go to the forensics laboratory, where we once again encounter the lovely Mitsuko Kisaragi, but instead of going to her shrine, most of the time we just spend it right there in the forensic lab. And basically we talk about the same thing about how TOUKO AMEMIYA had been essayed by a group of men. Then we basically talk about something more scientific, and this time we go with how you're able to identify culprits with hair and whatever by using DNA, and we have a little bit of a long conversation with that. We also learned that obviously Kogoro Yazawa, who is a politician, covered the whole incident up, and so they're trying to cover it up again now that it's resurfaced. But that's when they're going to try to do the best to bring this to light and arrest him and give TOUKO AMEMIYA the justice she deserves. We also, in that cutscene, get Professor Kisaragi sort of mentions about the main character's past, which obviously pisses her off, but they just move on quickly. But what I'm saying is that basically the past that was mentioned from the main character, Natty Marie, was not mentioned in the occult route, because in the occult route it was Sena's past who was mentioned in a sense. After that, Sena and our main character have a discussion, and they decide to revisit some of the crime scenes from all 4 incidents. So obviously they first start with the first victim, which was the 4th grader who had died, and then they learned that the father was actually a criminal who not only essayed TOUKO AMEMIYA but also had essayed multiple other women, and that's why he was in jail basically. And that apparently the kid's mom also abandoned him, so he was basically living with the grandparents. The kid was a bully, and if you guys recall from what Sena said in one of the urban legends, Hikiko would basically attack people who bully because she was also a victim of bully. So I guess that's why the kid got killed pretty much. Then we also revisit the scene of the bench where the first time they had the encounter with the lady in the trench coat. We revisit that section, but we don't get a lot out of that one. That's when then we finally go to G Prefectural Hospital again in the night to visit the 3rd and 4th victims. And in our way, we find ourselves with Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI, who are also on their way to visit the 3rd and 4th victims. That's when then Inspector KOUKETSU informs us that the father of the kid who was in prison had unalived himself, and that he had long hair around his neck when he unalived himself. And so obviously it began to suspect that it could be the lady in the trench coat doing so. And even Inspector KOUKETSU admits at some point that he even finds this weird, which is unexpected. Like, Detective NIIMI would never believe any of this, but Inspector KOUKETSU admitted it, which is surprising to me. Anyway, so the 4 groups decide to team up in this occasion, and they all go to visit the 3rd victim, Miyu Tanahashi, who was the girl who was yelling at the hospital because she didn't want them to be seen. We get a small CGI scene with the girl, and we basically learn from her that she was also part of she wasn't like part of the incident, she just witnessed the incident by accident, and so she was scared that if she said something that she tried to confront them or something, that she was going to end up the same way as TOUKO AMEMIYA. So the next day she saw the news incident on the newspaper, and she told about her parents about it. And when they were going to call the police to inform the situation, someone had come to their home and had basically bribed them with money. And it turns out that it was Eiichi Yazawa's father, Kogoro Yazawa, who came to their house and bribed them to basically shut them the hell up and not say anything about the incident. That's when Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI decided they were going to return to the G Prefectural Police Headquarters, so they were going to prepare an arrest order for Eiichi Yazawa. And so they left us the task to keep an eye on Eiichi Yazawa just in case things went south. So when we went to the hospital room to confront Eiichi Yazawa about the situation, he was being, guapetón, like threatening us and stuff like that. And in the middle of all of that, suddenly Eiichi Yazawa's leg gets slashed, and it turns out that the lady in the trench coat was hidden under the fiance's bed the entire time. When she showed up, Eiichi Yazawa was scared pretty much, and that's when we decided to do the liar's art on the lady in the trench coat. And this one is different because the liar's art in this one was the lady in the trench coat, and the occult route is TOUKO AMEMIYA, the real one. So we do the liar's art on her, and in the end it was all to get Eiichi Yazawa himself to confess the crime that he did. And he literally falls for the trap and he admits to the crime. And so our main girl was smart enough to get a tape recorder and record everything that he had said. So after that, Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI came back. And so basically, Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI decided to share credits. So they arrested Eiichi Yazawa, and our girl and Sena arrested the lady in the trench coat. And then we have that special scene again where they're talking in the roof of the G Prefectural Headquarters, and being like, oh, you're my partner, whatever. The next day, they're at the conference room, I think it's called. And so Kisaragi comes to visit them, and that's when she says something, and that is that the lady in the trench coat has been taken away. And so they were like, what? She was taken away? What? So anyways, after Professor Kisaragi had told us the news, we get to do once again the deduction logic and the terms, and then we discover that TOUKO AMEMIYA was actually a clone. When we go to check her prison cell, however, she was already gone, and some janitor told us that a blonde foreigner had taken the lady in the trench coat. And so when we confronted this with Tanaka, Tanaka was as usual pretending that there was no case related to the lady in the trench coat. He was pretending there was nothing going on, that he had no idea whatsoever. And so in the end, the two characters, our main girl and Sena, go to the hallway, and so they're like a bit sad because they did all this shit for nothing. And that's when then Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI come, and they say to give it up because the blonde prince is someone who cannot be messed with. He's higher than the police officers, and I think higher than the politicians as well, and so they can't do anything about it with him. And so they were also a bit disappointed, to say the least, and they just, Inspector KOUKETSU in particular said that sometimes we just gotta wait for the right time to strike. And so basically what it was saying is that this isn't just the end, this was just the beginning of something mysterious related to the blonde prince. After that we get the same thing where we are transferred to Tokuso, and yeah. That is pretty much it, what happens in this chapter of the scientific route. So yeah, now that you got the gist, now I'm going to bring you back to yesterday Kirby so that she can do the extra chapter. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this section. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed the scientific explanation by Next Day Me. So basically we're going to be now watching some of the extra scenes from the Lady in the Trench Coat's chapter. What are these extra scenes, if you're wondering? These extra scenes are basically little scenes that you get to watch from a different perspective of a different character that isn't the main character. These are scenes that you get to see, and you get to be like, oh, this happened while we were doing this and this. Some of these scenes can give answers to questions about you know, if you're confused about the story or something, some of the scenes, because some of the other scenes are a bit unnecessary, but you know, they just include it. They're just like little nuggets. The only way to earn these scenes, however, is by playing both the occult route and the scientific route of each of these chapters of Shin Hayarigami. And yeah, basically we're gonna be watching the cutscene starting with Ichiro Tanaka. So yeah, let's see what happens in Ichiro's Tanaka's perspective. So let's get to it. Alright, I didn't get to put the thingamajigga. Hold on, sorry.
My name's Ichiro Tanaka. I'm the head of the investigation department at G Prefectural Police, and my rank is Superintendent. A new problem child will soon arrive to the first investigative division.
Wow!
Her name's Natimuri, a police officer who was part of the local affairs department of C Village as prefecture. As of today, she'll be registered with the G Prefectural Police Investigative Division. If that was it wouldn't be such a big deal, but the problem is what comes after. She belonged to a reserve personnel department, but that department was suddenly disbanded 2 years ago, and all of the other members of the team are currently missing.
Oh yeah, Kasamori and Kuroda.
This all happened around the same time the Blindman incident happened. No matter how I think about it, I can't help but think that those people from the personnel department might have been involved with the Blindman incident. I don't know the details, and I don't intend to, but even if she's a detective, she was part of the personnel department. That's basically it, right? Oh no, it's already hard enough having to deal with this problem!
Sena!
Moreover, he asked for the problem child, Sena Aizen, to be paired with Natimuri. I wonder what the chief director is thinking. No, it's the chief who's given the order. With 2 problem children, it wouldn't be surprising if the danger here doubles up that they end up fighting. Since he belongs to the first investigative division, I will always assume it's his fault. Ugh, give me a break, damn it!
Huh? What are you looking at, old man?
He's after me! What are you talking about? I'm not looking at you. Anyways, where's the tea? When's the tea ready?
Here you go.
Oh, he's scary. At least do something about that pompadour hair. With that hairstyle and that look in his eyes, he's really scary. I can't believe I feel intimidated by this policeman. I just only asked for tea. But now it's time for that tea. Let's have a quick sip. Oh, sorry, the controller. Hot! This tea is hot! I can't do my test properly because of it. So another day like this. How depressing. Anyways, why G Prefecture's first investigative division? First, Marie wasn't born in G Prefecture, and I think she's probably never been here, and yet for some reason she's been sent to G Prefecture. And the first investigative division, right? Normally if you don't make an achievement here, you'll never get used to the first investigative division. It's not like Marie has recently identified a criminal or solved a case or anything like that. If she was just transferred to G Prefecture, it's possible she might have done something wrong and was demoted.
Basically.
But there's no way someone from the Regional Affairs Division will go to the first investigative division! No way! I can't understand it if it was a professional who was moving to the first investigative division. It's not a demotion nor promotion. If that's the case, then the people above must be setting up something.
Oh, do you know something, Tanaka?
My head's starting to feel itchy. When I think about something, I just can't help but feel an itch. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a strand of hair fell out and floated down onto the desk, but I ignored it. I don't want to know. I'm not going bald. Oh my god. Please, I hope that no hardship befalls on me. If I have to worry, my head will burn like a field.
My name's Nettie Marie, and I came from the YAZAWA'S Prefectural Police Department. As of today, I have been assigned here with all of you. Although I'm young, I will appreciate your guidance and encouragement.
Oh, here it comes. She's finally here. The problem child.
By the way, looking gorgeous, girl.
I just wish she had the nerve to say, I hate you, Prefecture, so much! I'm going to quit the police force! Really? But there's nothing I can do about what's going to happen now. All hope is lost. It can't be helped, but this personal placement is the chief director's order, so I'm not responsible for the decision, but the worst case scenario could be that a problem arises and the two of them end up being held accountable. That's right. Even if things get serious in the end, it's all the chief director's fault. No mine. I'm not to blame. Okay, I'm getting desperate. If I think positively, if the problem child will stay together and there won't be any problems. So busy. I'll quickly pair up these two troublemakers and leave the rest to them. So that's what was going on in the beginning. Wow! That is impressive. Oh my god. It's incredible how you can get to see what happens outside of the protagonist's eyes. That's really nice. So hold on a second. I will be showing you guys the next scene. Just give me a couple of minutes. Okay, so the next one we're gonna be watching is the Blonde Princess part of the Lady in the Trenchcoat chapters. Let's see what he's got in store. Okay. That music though.
Looks like there's going to be extra work today. G Prefecture Hospital. We're currently visiting the facility to conduct an experiment on the Lady in the Trenchcoat.
Excuse me?
The woman chosen to play the Lady in the Trenchcoat is TOUKO AMEMIYA. 5 years ago, she was a victim of an essay assault by YAZAWA, and her dignity as a woman was violated. However, she says that she still loves YAZAWA. Even though I barely know anything about the so-called normal people, I can tell this woman is abnormal. That's exactly why she's the perfect candidate for this experiment. No sane person could become the Lady in the Trenchcoat. This is because anyone with a normal mind would not be able to withstand being given strengthening drugs or be in a situation where there are multiple versions of her. TOUKO AMEMIYA will always have YAZAWA'S bait dangling right in front of her. For YAZAWA, TOUKO AMEMIYA will endure any harsh experiments done on her. In fact, that's exactly what happened. TOUKO AMEMIYA is the wolf, and YAZAWA is the poor lamb. The lamb, YAZAWA appears to have talked to his father and brought bodyguards for self-defense. The security's been buffed up since last time. In addition to police officers, there are several who are clearly Yakuzas. However, in the hands of the Lady in the Trenchcoat, ordinary people like that could be disposed of by the dozen. However, in the hands of the Lady in the Trenchcoat, the Lady in the Trenchcoat's fighting abilities have already been proven last time, and I have no intention of wasting any more time on it. I've given orders to my subordinates via radio. It's me. There's no need to conduct a combat experiment this time. Eliminate YAZAWA'S guards in front of the door. Without waiting for a reply, I disconnected the line. There's no need to check, as my subordinates had already begun to move. Waiting's a waste of time. With this, within a few minutes or even seconds, YAZAWA'S guards will be gone. Whether to settle things peacefully or eliminate them by force is up to the people dealing with. This time, it'll probably be the actors who deal with it.
Also, this girl is very important for the plot later. She was mentioned, but this is the first time you get to see her. So yeah, she'll be mentioned a little bit more later around chapter 4, chapter 5. She's very important, and her connection with all of this will be with what happened in the Lady in the Trench Coat when the others got back into the car and assumed that it was all a dream. She had something to do with it, and it will be explained what exactly happened later on. So yeah, I just don't want to spoil it, but I kind of know what happens. But she's very important. Also, her name is Lisei. It's a French name. In Japanese, it's Risei. So yeah. Anyways, Lisei.
Aren't you going to eliminate the detectives inside?
How unusual to think you have such a thing. Normally Lisa would just follow along without saying a word.
Oh well, it kind of says it here. Okay. It says it here. I thought it wasn't, but it kind of does says it here. So it explains what happens.
Her role is to rewind time if necessary for the organization.
Yeah, that's the thing. This girl has time. She's literally the girl from Life is Strange who can turn back time. And so, if you guys are wondering what kind of happened during the occult route in the Lady in the Trenchcoat case when we went back in the car, she turned back time. That's what happened. She turned back time. And that's how they were able to be 10 steps ahead of all of us, because they have a girl who literally can turn back time! It's like, how are we even gonna defeat them? It's so difficult! Jeez. Okay.
She's like a machine that rewinds time. There's no need for her to talk to me, and even if she gave me her opinion on the matter, the organization's policy wouldn't change.
Well, aren't those two getting in the way?
She asked, once again. In a broad sense, it's fair to say that those two may be YAZAWA'S guards. One might ask if the purpose is to measure fighting power and eliminate the guards, so shouldn't the two detectives also be eliminated? Lisei's opinion on the matter isn't wrong here. That is, if those two are not related. That won't be a problem. We'll have those two participate in the experiment as well. Yes, those two are also participants of the experiment. That was the organization's wish as well. NIIMI was one of the survivors of the Blindman experiment 2 years ago.
Oh, what? Wait, oh my god, yeah! I mean, Shin Hayarigami 1 was mentioned, but it was like vaguely. But now it's confirmed that the Blindman incident was also an experiment done by these weird people, the Blonde Prince and their groupies.
The organization took an interest in her and decided to keep her in their local division until the next experiment began. And so this next experiment, that is, the experiment of getting rid of the Lady in the Trenchcoat, was about to begin, so the organization called her to G Prefecture.
Excuse me?
As for Sena Aizen, he's trying to uncover the organization's secrets from a different perspective. His motive is personal vendetta. There's nothing particularly remarkable about him, but he's attracted the attention of the organization. These two are unaware of being part of the experiment.
So
Lisei agreed and went silent again. It doesn't seem like she had any particular interest in those two. That is the truth. It's hard to imagine Lisei being interested in normal people. Although it may be possible those two and Lisei met on a different timeline. Lisei can also travel through time, which means that she could have met those two in a different time period than this current one. For example, it's possible that she met those two in this very hallway. It's possible she met them somewhere else, such as the entrance of the prefectural police station. It's possible she met them somewhere else in the city or even in the suburbs. And then afterwards, either with the orders from the organization or of her own volition, she may rewind time and it all may be as if it never happened. Since only Lisei can travel back in time, we have to take a somewhat roundabout way of confirming this fact. Maybe I'll get some useful information out of it. I'll ask her about it later. Now, about the Lady in the Trenchcoat. Soon the Lady in the Trenchcoat will show up to HE YAZAWA, NIIMI and Sena Aizen. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of results we get from this experiment.
That was quite the revelation. I thought they weren't going to reveal the Lisei part, but I forgot that they do. So, yeah. That's exactly what happened in the occult route, by the way. And also, if you're wondering about the scientific route, yeah, this dude has something to do with all of that. He's working for some kind of organization, and they're conducting experiments with monsters, urban legends. So yeah, but it will be all more explained in detail around chapter 5. So it's a long way before we even get to that. But yeah, at least we got a little nugget of that. So yeah, that was a lot. Anyways, we're gonna watch the last one and we'll see what happens. So BRB. Alright, so the last one we're watching is the perspective side of TOUKO AMEMIYA herself. So yeah, let's see what gets to happen here. And so
I am proud of my long black hair. It was around the time YAZAWA became the first to compliment me. Before I met Eichi, I was a plain, hopeless woman who didn't even take care of my hair. However, ever since I met Eichi, I have begun to feel proud of my hair. I brush my hair before shampooing. If I don't remove dirt and frame before washing my hair, it will end up being damaged. The brushes are not made of cheap synthetic fibers, but are top quality boar bristles. As for the shampoo itself, if I had to find one that suited me, I tried a few and found that a silicone-free one was the best. I've been using it ever since. First off, the shampoo itself puts a strain on the hair. Ever since I came to this room, my hair hasn't gotten dirty. So just using warm water is enough to make my hair look beautiful. After that, drain the water. Apply treatment to the ends of my hair. Dry it with a hairdryer and never forget to do aftercare. Part of it is because I want to take care of my hair, but it's also because the blonde foreigner who introduced me to this place, whose name I never learned, recommended. He talked at length about an experiment, about gods residing in my hair, about a strange phenomena, about the pilgrimage of the eyes.
oh, so like what Kisaragi mentioned about the hair reciting with grudges.
To be honest, I really didn't understand it. But I knew as long as my hair was taken care of, I would be connected to Ichi. In fact, those lady in the trench coats, which are copies of me, so she knew, are being delivered to my Ichi. This is because I am connected to them as well. That's how she was able to control them. She's connected to them. Apparently, it's because hair acts as an antenna. I don't know the details and I don't care. If it helps me stay connected to Ichi, then so be it. I would love to see him in person if I could. I'm frustrated that I can't even leave this place. No matter how well groomed the ladies in the trench coat are, it still means I would need to meet him in person. Apparently I've been forced to take some mysterious medicine, and my physical abilities have become greater than those of an average person. In fact, those ladies in the trench coats who have the same abilities as me can overpower most opponents with their bare hands and even jump off buildings with no problems, making them a group of superhumans. And yet, no matter what I do, this glass mirror won't open. It won't break, and I can't force it open. I will sneak out of here and go find Ichi.
And I will shower you with my love! When lovers who have been separated meet again, their love is reaffirmed, and it burns brighter than ever! That's my cat. True love that overcomes trials shine brighter and more brilliantly than any priceless jewel! Ichi, I'm sorry it's taken so long. I really want to feel you close to me forever. Oh my god, why Ichi? There could be so many men in the world. Why Ichi Yazawa is so ugly, goddammit? I miss the time when I felt your breath. I miss the time when I felt your gaze. I want to go back to those days soon. Could it be Ichi? Nope. it's Blondie over here, Goldilocks.
It's time.
Oh, this person.
I was sure Ichi would come today. Oh my god, he literally did kinda came to the lab.
Time for the progress report.
It's a matter of fact, business-like exchange. Neither I nor the foreigner said anything unnecessary. Because from my perspective, this experiment is basically irrelevant. I hate this time of the day. I feel like my love for Ichi, which is emanating from my hair, will be cut short. That's all for the report of the lady in the trench coat. I think they were mostly seen as the women under the bench.
The content is too biased. There are still variations on the lady in the trench coat in urban legends.
I don't know anything about that. What does he expect from me? Someone who barely knew anything about urban legends before coming here? In addition to necessities of life, food, clothing, and shelter and the things I request, this room also contains literature and books related to urban legends of this kind of thing. But I haven't read them. It's not like I want to become involved in urban legends. I only want to be with Ichi.
Our goal is to make the lady in the trench coat become a reality, so we're creating human copies of you.
Yes, I get it. But if I don't listen, I could even be killed. So I don't have any other choice but to do what I'm told, right? I don't mind if I die, but I absolutely don't want to lose the chance of seeing Ichi. I hate how this man takes advantage of my feelings for Ichi. But I also hate myself for being naive enough to give in to his orders. After that, the blonde foreigner left me with the instructions and leaves the lab. It seems that I'm going to play the lady in the trench coat. Another urban legend. As if I had the time to look at something like this, I'd just rather think about Ichi. But there's no other options. I reluctantly glanced through it. That's right, Ichi. The assault and this experiment are all tests to prove my love for you. It's okay. I won't lose. Because my love for you is true.
And that is pretty much it for the chapter of the lady in the trench coat. We saw everything. I explained to you the scientific route. We saw a couple of scenes. This one also basically answers a couple of questions, which is pretty nice. So yeah, there you have it. I would definitely love to see what you guys think in the comments. I'm just curious, if anything. But yeah, that is pretty much it for Shin Hayarigami's 2 Lady in the Trench Coat chapter. We're gonna be doing more chapters on Shin Hayarigami 2. But yeah, this is pretty much it for the Lady in the Trench Coat. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you really did enjoy it, drop the like button. It really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate it if you do. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, that is pretty much it, my lovelies. I love you all. I appreciate you. and we'll be seeing you on the next episode. Goodbye!